Welcome to Beyond the Blockchain with Scott Tyndall, a discussion of blockchain technology, cryptocurrency, and why it matters to you.
Hey folks, welcome into Beyond the Blockchain. I'm your host, Scott Tyndall, here with you live every Wednesday night on FM Talk 106.5. I'm excited to be here. It's always fun. Got Philip here with me on the board. Philip,
hey, what's going on, man?
Hey, man, it's good. It's basketball season, so I never know when I'm going to get to see you or not. But it's another night that we get to hang out together, so that makes me excited.
Absolutely, it's a great show,
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of fun together, if nothing else, right? We don't have to worry about that.
Oh yeah.
All right, we're going to get started with the show like we always do. We're going to start off with some headlines. Last week we talked to Taylor Peak, remember, about ChatGPT and AI and some of the work they're doing up there at Motion Mobs, which is just really interesting. And that's a lot more fun than the headlines. Because once again, we have another week where headlines just aren't real rosy and happy, except for the fact that Bitcoin is now over 24,000, which is a 2-week high. Philip, a few weeks ago before the end of the year, we were looking at $14,000 there. And we don't really like to talk about price, but Bitcoin price does typically give people an idea on the state of the crypto health, right? It's a pretty good barometer for the state of the crypto health. Here in the headlines today, what we're seeing is more information about regulation and what may happen with crypto regulation. And we don't really know the exact answer yet, but we see the SEC circling in closer and closer. And Philip, in the past, we've talked about how the best form of regulation we could possibly hope for with crypto would be some kind of regulation that's a lot like maybe the way the FAA runs air traffic control towers.
How could you negotiate with the SEC?
Right? But it doesn't look like that's the version we're going to get. Like, the more I see and the more I read, I think we're probably looking at quite a substantial overreach of regulation, and it's a freight train. And to be honest, it's easy for people who are non-crypto natives or non-blockchain natives to think we need this overreaching regulation because of the implosion that we've had over the past 12 months in the industry. It's kind of like self-fulfilling prophecy, and sometimes it makes you ask if maybe it wasn't planned that way all along. I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know. I didn't say. I'm just asking. I don't know. It's just something to think about. But so we do still have Sam Bankman-Fried in the headlines. Believe it or not, this guy, he's the guy that will not go away. And here he is in the headlines again. Now we're finding that the people that actually helped post bond for him, remember it was like this huge bond, right? Like $20 million.
Yeah.
And there's this great controversy of who posted the bond. Was it Kevin O'Leary? Was it some other Tom Brady or one of the FTX investors? And it's not near as fun or entertaining as any of that. It turns out it is the former dean of Stanford Law School, and then also a research scientist at Stanford as well. So, family, friends, I'm guessing, unless there's more there than we know about. But I think the people that we're looking for, this is the time of the UFO landings, and included here, just like something bizarre. It probably was a wet blanket on them. I don't think they really got the result they were hoping for when this was. People were asking for the release of this, like Epstein's flight records. People were just, very interested in knowing who it was. And it turns out that, most of the time the most interesting story is not the true story. The true story is kind of boring. So that's what we have there. Now, today on the show, we talked last week about ChatGPT and AI and machine learning. And today I want to do something kind of the opposite of that. And I actually kind of want to talk about the dangers that may come from AI, machine learning, and what we need to be looking for. And this isn't me. I'm not saying what we need to be looking for. Elon Musk, one of the smartest men in the world, he's consistently harping on the dangers of this technology, and he's one of the founders of OpenAI, the company that created ChatGPT. So I think it's really important that we talk about it this week. And it's not like, Skynet, Terminator kind of thing, but maybe.
At
I
least a
mean,
job killer.
it's at least a job killer, right? I'm an attorney. It's about to put 75% of us out of work when we have to, we have AI writing all the documents better than most humans can. So they're not there yet, but man, they're well on their way. So it's going to be interesting. So we're going to get to talk about AI. We're going to talk about ChatGPT, and we're going to have a lot of fun along the way. I'm looking forward to it. I think we got a really good show teed up. I'm just really digging. I'm feeling the vibe. Outro music, feeling real chill. All right, Philip, let's go take a break. When we come back on Beyond the Blockchain, we're going to talk about the dangers of AI.
Welcome back to Beyond the Blockchain with Scott Tyndall.
Hey, folks, welcome back into the show. I'm your host, Scott Tyndall, here with you live Wednesday night at FM Talk. Philip, are you worried about AI?
Some AI more than others.
Some more than others?
Oh, yeah.
All right. I think most people can agree, regardless of like your political opinions, that Elon Musk, probably one of the smartest people on the planet, maybe because he may or may not be from this planet.
Another planet.
Yeah, we don't really know. But everybody says he's one of the smartest people on the planet.
I mean,
All right.
his car up in space as a payload.
He did. Yeah, he did make his car go in space as a payload, as like a, hey, let me show y'all how ingenious I am, I guess. Some form of ego thing. Anyway, but we talked about AI, and last week we talked about all the good things that could happen from AI. Let's look at what Elon Musk has to say about AI. And I want to take a look at this article from 2018 because I think this is important, right? We're going 5 years ago, March 13th, 2018 on CNBC. And for everybody that doesn't know, Elon Musk is actually one of the co-founders of OpenAI that created ChatGPT, DALL-E, some of these other AI programs. All right, so here's what he says. So Elon Musk this comes from CNBC. Elon Musk has doubled down on his dire warnings about the dangers of artificial intelligence. The billionaire tech entrepreneur called AI more dangerous than nuclear warheads and said there needs to be a regulatory body overseeing the development of superintelligence. And he said this while he was speaking at South by Southwest there in Austin, where he now lives. That's not like a middling statement. That's not like lukewarm. Right. I mean, it's a pretty strong statement to say that AI is more dangerous than nuclear warheads, and that there should be a regulatory body overseeing the development of this superintelligence. This is 5 years ago. Clearly, we're not anywhere near that. We don't have any kind of regulatory bodies. We have no idea what anyone is doing, but we do know that we're moving at exponential pace.
Oh, yeah. AI software is moving fast. I mean, even just like music production software. I mean, like every couple of weeks they send updates that massively change how it works.
And that's only going to keep happening and keep getting faster, right?
Oh, yeah.
Now, here we are in 2018. Let's go back to this. 2018, the article goes on to say, it's not the first time Musk has made frightening predictions about the potential of AI. He is, for example, called AI vastly more dangerous than North Korea, and he had previously called for regulatory oversight. So now he's saying it's more dangerous than nuclear weapons, more dangerous than North Korea. And, this is interesting. Let's go back to 2018 again. So here it says that Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg commented on this and said that most doomsday AI scenarios are unnecessary and, quote, pretty irresponsible, end quote. Pretty irresponsible. That's strong.
Very responsible.
It's interesting to look back 5 years later, I think. Here we are again. It says the biggest issue I see with so-called AI experts is that they think they know more than they do, and they think they're smarter than they actually are. And Musk goes on to say, this tends to plague smart people. They define themselves by their intelligence, and they don't like the idea that a machine could be way smarter than them, so they discount the idea, which is fundamentally flawed.
Yep.
I mean, that makes sense to me. I think everybody knows somebody that just discounts anything that's kind of above their systemic thinking, right? It's like if I have to think hard about it, I don't.
Bias confirmation.
Yeah.
Confirmation bias.
Confirmation bias. Yeah, you certainly got some inherent, psychological biases in place. And what you're seeing is like this idea that nothing, like it hurts their ego that something can be smarter than them. But the unfortunate thing is the computer doesn't care about my ego, your ego, or anything else. All right, so now let's keep going because I know we're belaboring this point, and we're going to move on here in a second. But here's why Musk says there is a reason to be worried. Because remember when we talked to Taylor, we were talking about it matters who is training the machine. Remember that? Like that's a big point of what Taylor wanted to talk about. Like it really matters who's training the machine. All right, so and here's Elon again. He says, "I'm really quite close. I'm very close to the cutting edge in AI, and it scares the hell out of me. It's capable of vastly more than almost anyone knows, and the rate of improvement is exponential." 5 years ago, right? Exponential. We're very quickly in this exponential phase now. I mean, we're moving like I don't think the software is going to be able to be released fast enough for how fast the machine learning is taking place. Now, if we go back to the dangers, is like who's feeding the information in, right? Today I saw an article, you probably saw it, Philip, that said Google's version of AI that's running off of a ChatGPT backend was misquoting not only facts but years and just kind of it gave attitude. Now we also saw earlier this week Google tried to run kind of a promo of their ChatGPT competitor, and it also gave a factually incorrect answer, and they lost like $1 billion in market cap in like a matter of not long. I don't remember the exact numbers. I just know that it did not go well, and that's unfortunate. So, I mean, ChatGPT, AI, OpenAI, I mean, all these AI tools, they're only as good as the data we're putting into it. So let's go on. Here's what Musk has to say about that. He says he points to machine learning and says that here's an idea. He goes through how machine learning can be used to improve the rate of like development in a game, right? So there was one of the most complicated games in kind of recent history is this thing called it's DeepMind's game. It's AlphaGo Zero, and what this thing did is it basically learned how to beat the computers and learned how to beat the best humans in a rapidly short amount of time, and so. That's one just small example. But if we want to look at it in his words, and this kind of sums up what we said earlier, and then we'll get into more of the dangers. But he says it needs to be a public body that has that has insight and then oversight to confirm that everyone is developing AI safely. And this is extremely important. It says, I think the danger of AI is much greater than the danger of nuclear warheads by a lot. And nobody would suggest that we allow anyone to build nuclear warheads if they want. And he finishes by saying that would be insane.
Yes.
So he's basically saying like we need the same level of regulation around AI development as we do nuclear weapons and I guess the storage and transfer of plutonium. I mean, that's a pretty extreme position. I don't know that anyone else is taking anywhere near that extreme of a position.
Might be onto something.
I mean, he's only figured out how to, create a reusable rocket, and he's almost got a full self-driving car, and I mean,
and AI.
I mean, he's clearly not, hurting for good ideas and figuring out what's going on in the world.
Head of the curve. Man,
no kidding. All right, so let's talk about more dangers about like how you machine learn, right? How you train these robots, essentially. That story I was telling you about today, I'm going to pull it up real quick. AI. All right, let's see what we got here. Philip.
What you got?
Well, I had it right in front of me, but we're going to find it. But essentially, what the article is saying is it was some academic researchers also chiming in on plagiarism and what is not. And this is a whole separate conversation that can go a million different ways. But essentially, the idea comes back to how you learn the content, like who is feeding the content in so that it has an opinion. Like, how is this forming in its opinion?
Garbage in, garbage out.
Or good in, good out, right? Mm-hmm. And so that is like the next frontier of corporate, land grab. Corporate land grab is going to be who's responsible for feeding the AI, so that if I ask let's say I say, Alexa, order light bulbs, what light bulb is Alexa going to order? Right? Because I'm just asking for a light bulb. Somebody is machine learning which brand of light bulb is going to come to my house.
Yes.
Because I genuinely do not care what brand of light bulb I have. Right? It's like I'm not priced based on light bulb brands. Yeah. So how many other things like that exist in the space where there'll be corporate land grab to figure out who's going to get Siri or Alexa to recommend their product instead of something else?
It's like Google promoting things on their search engine. What they promote, which gets up first.
Right. So that's another one of these things that we say is a danger of AI. Like who's programming it in? Like there are no rules. It's just private corporations running their own information. But, that's no different than some of the complaints we've seen about Google and, Facebook and these other large tech conglomerates that basically control most of the data in our lives, which is why we talk about Web3, Philip. Yeah. We talk about Web3 because it allows us to start taking back control of our own data instead of having to rely on big San Francisco tech to take care of it for us.
You're going to have to dig into that more because I really haven't even gotten into Web3 yet.
Yeah, we've only been doing this for a few months, Philip. So, I understand that we're still trying to figure it out. Hey, man, I'm still trying to figure it out every day, too, so don't feel bad. It's one of those things where the technology changes so fast that you really can't stay up to date the way you want to stay up to date. You're just like constantly swimming upstream,
yes.
And but it's fun. It's a fun upstream because you get to learn it like everybody else does. Mm-hmm. We've talked about things like I remember last week we were talking about the oil and gas industry, right? It's like if you want to learn the oil and gas industry, you are 100 years behind, a couple of generations worth of people. That doesn't exist in Web3 and blockchain. There's not generations worth of people that have a head start on you. So, like, if you're interested, if you're intrigued, if you think blockchain technology is something that is gets you interested, like you can make a great career in that already at just like a really young age, because you're not competing with 20 years worth of coders or software programmers or anything like that, and they've got to learn new stuff. They don't want to get in this space. Like people get stuck in their rut. They know what they're good at, and just like you imagine, like you try to get people to go try a new restaurant, much less like try some form of new, technology and coding that they're not used to. Like that's just not realistic.
Mm-hmm. But videos and documents on the blockchain.
Yeah, videos and documents. Like nobody is going. Like all these people that are in archivists, right?
Yeah,
they're not going to learn how to move it all to the blockchain. There's going to be an entire industry of people that all they do is move archivist information onto the blockchain. Yes. Somebody should start that business. Mm-hmm. Well, Philip and I will only take a 4% royalty for recommending that business. We'll split it 2% each, but we'll also provide a lot of consulting along the way. They'll get their full value out of working with archivists to move their stuff onto the blockchain. And we'll teach them what all those words mean. How about that, Philip?
Absolutely. Teach me what some of them mean.
I try to learn what it means too, man. It's like every day is something new. Oh, man. You know what is Mardi Gras, Philip?
Yes, it is.
You know what would be interesting to put on the blockchain?
What's that?
How many pounds of garbage we wash down the sewers. Ugh. Yeah, that wouldn't be very good. Although I did see a post where they said that they are actively working aggressively right after the parade, and the faster they move, the more likely they are to pick up a lot of the debris. So that's good.
Yep.
It's just interesting. We have this really interesting dynamic here in town where, 49 weeks a year we fight litter
Yes.
And 3 weeks a year, we just litter the hell out of the place. And, doesn't really matter.
Somebody's got to keep track of all that.
Nobody thinks anything about it. You just drop it and run. I don't think that's probably the answer Mayor Stimson wants us to say, but, kind of is what it is. Everybody knows what's going on. All right, Philip, when we come back from the bottom of the break, I want to start talking about some more fun things. Dangers of AI. I kind of got bored with that, man. It kind of got me down. And I like to talk about positive things. So when we come back, let's get back to talk about more positive things about the blockchain.
Cool.
All right. When we come back on Beyond the Blockchain.
Welcome back to Beyond the Blockchain with Scott Tyndall.
Hey folks, welcome back to Beyond the Blockchain. I'm your host, Scott Tyndall. I'm here with you until 8 o'clock tonight, Central. If you're checking in on the podcast, that means we got about 20 minutes left. Philip, we talked in the beginning about the dangers of AI, and I'm ready to move on. Like I told you, I just don't want to talk about that anymore. I want to talk about fun things. And, I got 3 daughters that are 12, 9, and 6. They're about to be 13, 10, and 7. One of the things they love, The Masked Singer. Do you know what the Masked Singer is?
I think so.
So it's like karaoke, but it's celebrities wearing costumes. Right? So you don't know who it is. The whole idea is you got to guess the celebrity. And celebrity is like, it's a stretch, right? Depending on the situation. But the point is, the Masked Singer is now in the NFT game.
Really?
Non-fungible tokens. That's right. So that's great, right? We got major network TV. It's a Fox thing. So if you remember Fox, man, they were first creative with The Simpsons and all that kind of stuff. 30 years ago now. But here they are. All right. So here's what we've got right here from CoinDesk. It says the Masked Singer launches token-gated fan experience. Now in its 9th season, fans of the reality singing competition can sign up for a free loyalty pass and purchase art NFTs. So essentially, you can start to get NFTs of your favorite masked celebrity. It's really interesting, but it's cool because it's a digital fan experience, right? This is what they're really delivering. They're not NFTs, Facebook Marketplace. I don't care what you're talking about, any kind of interactive portal. They're delivering an interactive experience, and it's digital. And my children are digital native. My children don't understand anything.
Ready Player One.
Yeah, Ready Player One is right on the money, man. My kids don't understand anything other than integration and having your complete life integrated into technology.
Yes.
So that makes perfect sense, right? So here it says they've partnered with MoonPay, who we've talked about before. So Masked Singer, that's who we talked about. They partnered with MoonPay, and they've developed this infrastructure that allows for this loyalty pass program. So what it does is this loyalty pass.
Tell me about MoonPay.
MoonPay, all right. So MoonPay was one of those companies we talked about it's been a number of weeks ago, but they're basically a blockchain payment platform. They're one of the leading ones on that payment side, so it makes sense that we would see MoonPay linked up with these guys, right? But that's also like a good third-party validator, right? You've got somebody like Fox
Security.
coming in to use this blockchain-based, payment system. But that's a great question. Thank you for asking again. And so then it says that you create this loyalty pass, right? You connect it to your MetaMask wallet, which we've talked about. For people that don't remember, MetaMask is a third-party crypto wallet that you download separately to move your crypto into. But anyway, so you download your MetaMask wallet. Now, while you're watching the live show, you're watching The Masked Singer, you can scan the QR code and vote for which character is going to make it to the next round. Right, so essentially you're voting for whatever celebrity in whatever costume, all right? And so, but here's the cool thing. If you get it right, you guess correctly, you get to level up in your loyalty pass. So now you're playing an interactive game where they keep you coming back every week because each week you're trying to gain more points by correctly predicting who's going to stay and who's going to go. And I think that's pretty cool. Yeah, because you are, right? But you want to predict, am I in the majority or maybe am I an outlier, you know? So then it goes on, all right, so now you're getting these loyalty points. Mm-hmm. Now you can purchase one of 1,050 generative art NFTs created by the digital artist Waxbones. I don't know who Waxbones is right this minute, but I guarantee you before I go to bed tonight, I don't know who Waxbones is.
Oh, yes.
Because I want to know, like, who is this guy? How did they choose him? Like, this is the guy? Like, I want to figure out who this dude is. Oh, yeah. Right? Waxbones. And what a name.
Or something.
Yeah. Like, yeah, instead of Banksy, we got Waxbones. I'm down with that guy. All right, so then it costs you $50. All right, so this $50 NFT gives you access to exclusive multimedia content. Not just one type of media, Philip. Multimedia. Mm-hmm. Now, they say they're going to launch an official online merchandise store, and you can actually redeem your points for digital goods. So, man, this is smart. Johnny Gwynn would love this because it's kind of that full flywheel we talk about, you know? It's like, all right, watch the show, vote, you get points, use your points to get merch, wear the merch, you're a bigger fan of the show. Now you're telling everyone else in the world you're a fan of the show because you're wearing your merch you got from your points. I can see people buying and selling points online. There'll be a secondary market for this for sure.
Oh, yeah.
So then it says, it goes on to say that, you know, Fox is who you would expect. Looks like they've invested, according to this from CoinDesk, they've invested over $100 million in blockchain tools. Wow. I mean, Fox is not playing around. Nope. That's a serious investment. Holy cow. Fox, get after it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm impressed. Well, that's good news, yes. Right? That was better than some of our bad news earlier today.
And we're looking for security since, you know, the other stuff has been going on, FTX and all of that. It's good to have Fox stepping in.
Oh, yeah. Hey, what do you think about these things that we keep shooting down?
Well, I actually heard one of these guys actually call them balloons. So apparently one of the congressmen or whoever they interviewed, so that may be what they are.
I think we should ask Mr. Claxton when he comes in later. Yes. We get his perspective on what's going on. Absolutely. I mean, as far as I understand, it's like the first thing we've shot down over North America in like 65 years. Pretty much. We just casually shoot down 3 in a weekend, and you want me to pretend like this isn't a big deal and I shouldn't pay attention?
It is a big deal.
It is a big deal.
Like that train derailment.
Oh.
Jeez.
Come on. This is why people, all right, you're going to get me on a platform real quick, but this is why people get bent out of shape about this whole Mobile Baykeeper lawsuit with Alabama Power, right, where they're storing all this coal ash in the ground.
Right.
It's like, oh, nothing bad ever happens until it does. So, oh, it's a once-in-a-billion opportunity. Well, tell the people of East Palestine, Ohio about once-in-a-however-million opportunity.
Yeah.
I mean,
opportunity to have all your animals die in your farm.
Yeah, I saw a lady that had like 12 of her chickens just die out in the yard.
Yep.
No explanation, right? Just, you're good to go. Keep breathing this. Mm-hmm. Nothing to worry about at all.
No. Nothing to see here. Move along.
So I saw something about the unidentified flying things.
Yeah.
Whatever we're calling them now. Mm-hmm. UAPs.
Yes.
Somehow they can't recover them.
Really?
So far. They just say, oh, we can't find them. Now, I know they shot one down in the Yukon, right? It's pretty inaccessible.
Yeah.
Shot another one down over Alaska somewhere, frozen waters. Okay, maybe that's not accessible.
Yeah, but they're pretty expert.
I mean, you would think. And they shot one down in Lake Huron. I mean, that's like Toronto and Buffalo sit on the lake. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's like, you know, knocking down a UFO out here at Middle Bay Lighthouse.
Yeah, exactly.
Telling me you can't find it. I guarantee you there's some fishermen out there that
could find it.
They could find it. Or they found it. And they went. They may have gone. They may have got lost. You know what I mean?
Yes, like through a wormhole?
I don't know, man. Sometimes you find some of that stuff out there that the government doesn't want you to find, and you get lost. I don't know where you go. I don't know. That's just what they say.
One of those secret black ops location.
Man, I don't know. It's just what they say. All I know is, if it gets over a populated area, you got to think that there's some good old boys that are going to take some shots at that thing. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's a reason these things haven't made it to. I mean, the spy balloon was quite high, right? Yeah. But these things have been relatively low.
40,000 feet, I think they said.
Oh, is that the lowest? Huh.
One of them was 40,000 feet.
I don't know. We need to ask Sean how high a shotgun can go. That's our homework. Our homework is to ask Sean for tomorrow on the show how high of a shotgun is, or a rifle. We probably they're better with a rifle for sure.
How high can privately purchasable drones go?
That's an FAA question. That's a good question. I don't know, but I don't know that. It doesn't necessarily matter what the legal height is. I guess it's what does the technology allow for.
Exactly.
But these things are not a drone. They're just the size of a Volkswagen Beetle. That's not a drone.
The strike drones the Air Force use are pretty big.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Man, this is like Iron Man technology.
Yeah, because, they're carrying missiles, like full loads of missiles and bombs, and they go out into the desert.
Do what they're supposed to do when they're out in the desert?
Oh, yeah, they're pretty big. They carry a pretty heavy payload.
Wow. Well, I learned something new today. I did see that one of the missiles from the Air Force fighter jet missed. Did you see that?
I heard that. Yes, it did.
How do you miss? Don't they have like a bullseye? Like, yeah, don't they have an automatic guidance system?
They still can miss. Yeah.
I mean, this thing dodge it?
Sometimes it's not perfect. Let's see. A Sidewinder is a heat-seeking missile. A Sidewinder is a heat-seeking missile, and if that doesn't have a hot
heat signature,
on it may still not quite get to it.
That makes sense. If it doesn't have a heat signature, it can't sing to it.
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, it can pick up, but if it's not a firm, strong
that's fine.
signature.
I think you solved the puzzle. It wasn't that complicated, but you came in and saved the day. All right. Man, I enjoyed that.
Yeah, me too.
I think we're on the right path here. We'll get back on the blockchain in a minute, but right now, UFOs, UAPs, whatever's going on. Missiles. We're just having fun. All right, we'll see you when we come back on Beyond the Blockchain.
Welcome back to Beyond the Blockchain with Scott Tyndall.
Hey, folks, welcome back to the show. You're listening to Beyond the Blockchain. I'm your host, Scott Tyndall, here with you Wednesday night from 7 to 8, like we are most weeks. And we got Philip here with us, working the board. And, Philip, we were talking about this unidentified aerial phenomenon, I guess we're calling it now, a UAP or whatever it is. And so the next hour coming up is the best hour of radio that you could hope for. And we get to extend it by an extra 10 minutes. We've got Mr. Tom Claxton here with us.
Hey.
You were here getting ready for your show,
yes,
and I just thought, this is a man whose input and philosophy and thoughts I need on this topic. So I know you've been around a minute, a couple of minutes at least.
Yeah.
All right, so in 65...
Me and George were real good friends.
George
W.
You and Moses came down from the mountaintop.
Oh, Moses, my uncle.
So, all right, so I think I read today that in 65 years, NORAD has never shot down anything over North America.
Not that we know of.
That they've reported that
right,
or released. What is your take on why you think that if these things have existed, why are we now? Because I saw also today that maybe this has been going on. Why now to start shooting them down?
Well, I think that there's a lot of things that have been going on that we in the public weren't aware of and weren't told about. My frustration with the local things that have occurred here in the last week or so is, number one, if we knew that it was a Chinese weather balloon, and they said that it was theirs, and it had got off course. Well, what the hell are we letting it do come across our country?
Well, I saw today that we watched it leave the coast of the South China Sea and have been tracking it the whole time. So if we've known that, then why did we let it just keep crawling across?
Are we
right?
freaking nuts? I mean, come on.
That's a good question.
Are we nuts? You know that they want to take over this country, and they're doing it within the China Sea, and they build all these islands out there now, and then they're claiming their territory. But I'm upset with the fact that I'm a Marine.
Yes, sir.
Old school Marine in the 50s. And you can't tell me that they didn't know, and we don't have the equipment, that we can't tell what they're doing or what those balloons are up there.
Right.
You know, and I know that our satellites are strong enough and have cameras strong enough that we could have taken them out with a laser. Why did we have to shoot them with a missile? Okay? Now, the other thing is we are so sophisticated with our planes and our missiles. We missed the damn balloon with a missile that's got a GPS on it, that's got a laser on it, and you fire it, psh, it's going to a gnat's butt. You know what I mean?
Right. That's what I thought. I was pretty surprised to see that we had
missed
with
but
one.
now we've lost the damn thing. Okay, excuse my French. But, I mean, it's reality.
Yeah.
The other thing is, now we shot them down, but we can't find them. Well, now, it's in territories that we can't get to. We don't have helicopters. We don't have sophisticated cameras again on these satellites.
Or they just don't want you to ask any more questions, sir.
What? I think there's something going on and they don't want us to know about it. Or they're so friggin' idiots that, they are admitting how bad off they are.
There's certainly a lot of questions that have to be answered. It's getting weirder by the day, too.
It is,
which
but
is
now
weird to say.
I know, and I have faith in our troops, and I have faith in our Air Force. I have faith in all of our branches of service, and that they are sophisticated enough and have good enough equipment that they know what's going on. They know where that stuff's at, and that's BS, that they can't find that crap.
What do you think most rank and file Marines or soldiers or sailors or airmen probably think about all that as well? Frustrated.
We're frustrated to the point where they won't let us do our job. And, and then it's kind of like even the snipers in Afghanistan and Iraq had to get authority before they could fire a round. Mm-hmm. And they had the guy in their scope. They could see him holding a damn weapon.
Right.
They could see the woman hand a kid a bomb, an IED, and he puts it under his deal, and he comes on. And we had to get authority to do that.
Had to call back to the FOB and get the JAG to sign off on
I know.
Yeah.
Come on.
It's not like the 50s anymore.
No.
Well, you didn't have the ability to communicate like that, right? Like you were trusted. You were just trusted to make the right decision.
Go take this.
For the right reasons.
Go take this area.
Right.
Go take that building. Go take this house.
Right.
This town. And and that's what we were doing in Afghanistan. Mm-hmm. But then we didn't have control of what we were trying to do.
Right.
So, and now this flu barb that they're trying to present us with now, that's a bunch of BS.
It certainly doesn't seem to. The math doesn't add up yet.
It does not. We're going to talk about it some more on Scuttlebutt here when Cal and I get cranked up here in a little while.
Good.
But then we got a lawyer coming on with us, so if we get in trouble, we'll he could tell me to hush or don't talk about that. Not really, but he's going to talk about some things that are occurring with our vets and some new rules and regulations that have come down now that will be beneficial to our veterans.
Well, we got like a couple minutes before we get there. Tell me a little bit about that so that anybody listening will stick around for that next hour. What's coming down?
Well, there's lawyers coming on board with us, and one of our sponsors, Godberg and Kimberly. And there's been some new laws that have been passed with the VA where a veteran, if he couldn't get his disability and his retirement unless he had 50% disability. Mm-hmm. Well, now they determine what your disability is.
Yeah, I went through all this with my father.
Well, okay, it's not a new ball game for you.
Yep.
But now they said that you couldn't get one of those. But now they're saying that you can, and they're not defining it at 50%. But the Ryan will be on here with us in a little while from Lordberg, and we're going to discuss that. But Cal and I are going to get a little bit more into our balloon deal.
The balloon theories.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go to Walmart and buy me one of those little cameras and get me a scope on it, and see if I can't rent me a helicopter and see if I can't go up there and find the damn balloon.
Did you see? This is great. Talking about finding the balloon. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but it just struck me that we hadn't mentioned this. When the Chinese balloon went down off the coast of Myrtle Beach, it went down not far from the Ripley's Believe It or Not office there.
St. Augustine.
Yeah, and there's one in Myrtle Beach too.
Right,
So they kind of triangulated it. And they both said that they were sending out people to recover parts of the balloon to display, and they'd requested from the Department of Defense to display it.
Hey, that's Ripley's, baby. Believe it or not.
That's right.
Believe it or not, the crap that they're giving us now. They can't find the balloon. Holy cow. And they don't know what it was. Oh, my God.
It's if they just keep telling you that enough.
We're not that damn stupid. I may be, but you guys aren't.
I don't know about that. I'm not very smart, but Philip over here will keep it straight.
The technology of the missiles.
Yeah, of course he does.
But hey,
He knows a lot more about
I was in
technology
Honest
than
John
he
rocket outfit when I was in the Marine Corps in 1956, and we had an Honest John rocket that was 27 feet long, and it had atomic warhead. And I was supply chief for it. I know where that stuff comes from.
Yeah.
Even back then.
Right.
I had to have top secret clearance. But I didn't bring no papers home.
So we're going to go check your garage next to your Corvette.
Oh, my God, don't do that. No, that'd be. You guys have a blessed one. I enjoyed being on with you.
If anybody is looking for some top secret documents right next to Mr. Claxton's Corvette, that's where you'll find
You wasn't supposed to tell that.
All right, folks, thanks for joining us on the show tonight. Hey, stick around the next hour. It's going to be really interesting. I can't wait to learn more about this, and I want to hear more about the balloon and the work that's being done to help the veterans as well. So,
Amen.
Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week on Beyond the Blockchain.